Senator Bill Cassidy, Lanny James up here in Monroe. How you doing today?
Lonnie James, I am fantastic. How are you?
Great. Look, it's good to have you on our show. I was telling the folks out there that I was watching Trump the other day speaking somewhere. You'll have to freshen my memory. And I saw you standing behind him the whole time. What was that about? What session was that?
That was about surprise medical billing. You go to the in-network hospital, get an out-of-network bill. But then the president started taking questions. It went from kind of celebrating an effort to address surprise medical billing to all sorts of things. And the president, as usual style, was colorful, provocative, and headline-grabbing. And it went on for about 45 minutes.
Billy catches constant hell from these Republicans, and it's not going to end. They weren't pleased with the outcome of the Mueller investigation, so they're trying to investigate him themselves. The thing that amazes me about them, Bill, and I have no party affiliation, so I don't have any axe to grind here because of what party they're in, but the thing that amazes me, Bill, and I want you to just talk about this as just an American, it bothers me. What was it, a week or so ago or just a few days ago, the Wicked Witch of the West was referring to Trump as obstructing justice. And then today, I watched Fox, and they put together a synopsis of all the news anchors across the country on these national shows, Bill, and they had one talking point. Boy, she sure knows how to get under his skin. Every one of them said the same thing. Now, I can understand with the Democrats saying something because they're probably getting all of that from Barack Hussein Obama. But, Bill, who's calling these people up to give these Democratic, these wacko liberal commentators this information? Why do they all say the same thing? That's more than a coincidence. Who's doing that, I wonder?
They're competing for a liberal viewer who hates Donald Trump and is watching TV to have somebody validate their views. And the more they speak to that person, the more they think that they will watch their program, their channel, and not somebody else's. Of course, they're not going to watch Fox, but they're competing with, MSNBC versus CNN. And it's okay for those commentators. It's not news, but it reflects what they think. And so they don't like Trump either. And so it kind of is a sort of feedback loop. They're hoping to get ratings, so they speak out, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth does speak. And that's what it occurs. I wish they would stick to reporting the news, but that's not how they think they get viewers, so they do what they do.
Well, Bill, I didn't come over on the first boat. It was probably the second one or so. And I'm no Rhodes Scholar, but I'm not the village idiot either. I get a kick out of Trump. He knows how to get under their skin. Now, you've had some one-on-ones with him, I'm sure. He seems like a pretty nice guy, and the thing that always amazed me about him is that he relates so well to the average working American. It impressed me so much that he had his kids, Bill, go to work. They didn't have to with all that money, and it seemed like they've developed into pretty good kids. But no matter what Trump does, Bill, he catches heck for it from the Democrats. Now, they're pushing this socialist agenda. I just turned 79, April 24th. I've been around a long time. I've seen a lot of things happen. Bill, I do not want to live in a socialist country. If you give everybody everything, do away with religion, especially Christianity, Bill, in my mind, we won't have a country anymore. Those fibers, those things that we stood for, all these years of what have made this country great, you didn't get where you were by having somebody do it for you. I'm sure you spent a lot of time in college, hard work, to get what you have. I hope they keep playing up this narrative. The American people can't be that stupid, Mr. Cassidy, to fall for this narrative that we need to be a socialist country. It makes no sense.
Yeah, so you compare what happened since President Trump became president, and the economy has begun to boom. Not everybody, but by and large, more people than for the previous 8 years And so under Obama, the economy's rocking along, growing about 1% per year, but the folks in the lower end of the ladder are getting poor, more people in disability, fewer people working. Since Trump's taken office, we got record low unemployment for veterans, record low unemployment for high school dropouts, for the disabled, for African Americans, for Hispanics, for women. We have got records 60-year low in unemployment, which means 60-year high in employment. We've got an economy where it's, instead of growing 1%, it's growing 3%. And that's compounding on itself, which over time is $1 trillion. It will be $1 trillion in more growth. And we've got a situation where the wage growth is disproportionately among those in the lower income bracket. The folks left out under Obama are making more money under Trump. Now, that's not socialism. That's capitalism. And that's the American business, the American worker combining to make our economy grow. Hey, give me that as opposed to give me Venezuela.
Bill, when I heard about this terrible debt that we have, and some $20 trillion, long before I even knew much about Donald Trump, I remember saying on my talk show that I think we can grow, Bill, ourselves out of this economy, out of this horrible situation where we're in all this debt, because I felt like we were a sleeping giant, virtually untapped at this point a few years ago, with the possibility to do wondrous things. It seems like we've got a businessman in there that knows what he's doing, saw that vision, and now all of these things are starting to come to fruition.
So a couple things there, Lonnie. Since President Trump got elected, Republicans working with Trump have cut back. I think we got rid of 16 regulations, big regulations put out by the Obama administration just before he left office, that collectively saved, this is off the top of my head, I think it's 13 regulations that saved $60 billion in terms of compliance costs for business. This is money that instead of creating jobs, they would have had to pay lawyers or lobbyists. And so now, instead of paying lawyers and lobbyists, they're creating jobs. And then we go back to record low unemployment for veterans, for the disabled, for high school dropouts, et cetera. That's a good thing. The other thing is the Tax Cut and Jobs Act bill, which put more money in the pockets of American families, giving them more money to spend to improve their life, more money in businesses so they can grow their business. And as they grow their business, pay their workers more. So it's all a cycle of saying to the American family, American worker, and American business person, we trust you to make our country more prosperous, as opposed to, say, the Obama regime, where they said, send us your money so that we can make it better for you, and somehow things never got as good as you thought they should.
Bill, I know you're uptight for time. I want to run one thing by you, and you and I may have talked about this before. There's one more place out there for Trump to really make a hit. I mean, the next election in 2020, Bill, in my estimation, shouldn't even be close at all. But this is something that's right up your alley, and I'm talking about health care. Now, to me, Obamacare was nothing about anything to help American people, but to me it was about power and control. Now, you may or may not agree with that, but it seems to me, Bill, with people like you, other doctors, businessmen, economists, sit down together in a room, as Trump is prone to do, put together the best medical plan this country has ever had. Bill, why can't we do it? Can the Democrats stop that move?
Yes, they can, but we are working on it. And we're working on it, if you will, by the principle that the patient should have the power. Not the hospital, not the government, not the doctor. I'm saying that as a doctor. It is the patient who should have the power. And doctors, I was taught this in med school. You are the patient's advocate. So we're trying to help the patient have power by doing away with, say, for example, surprise medical billing. You go to an in-network hospital, you've done your research, you know the surgeon is on your hospital plan, you know the anesthesiologist is, you go to surgery, lo and behold, there's a piece of equipment that is out of network, and you've got to pay several $1,000s for the use of the piece of equipment. Now, that was an example just given to me by one of my fellow senators. That is wrong. If you go to an in-network hospital, you should not get stuck with a surprise medical bill.
Bill?
So we're working on legislation that would say if you go in-network, you get in-network price, period, end of story. Patient has the power, and includes the power of knowing what it's going to cost you.
Bill, how much progress are you you and your people that want to make this great health care program? Look, we got brilliant people in this country, Bill. There's no reason we can't do this. We don't need all the political implications of who's going to look good. Let's do what's best for the American people. Are you making any progress in that direction?
We are. We've got a bill that we put up to stop surprise medical billing. We now have 20 senators, so that's 1/5 of the Senate have signed on to the bill. Others are looking at it. We're going to have hearings in June, hopefully vote and then pass it in the Senate in July. And by the way, I'm getting Democrats on this as well, because it's not a Republican issue or a Democratic issue. It is an American patient issue.
But, Bill, how do you do that? Because it seems to me like the Democrats worry about getting reelected again more than anything else. How you get them to move aboard? You know, they use this term bipartisan. I'm almost afraid it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I will say that most of the Democrats running for president have not signed on, but although one has. So I'm hoping that the ones that really care about the American people, as opposed to about partisanship or running for president or hating on Trump, will sign up for this bill, because giving the patient the power is something we should all be for.
Bill, I'm sorry we had such a short session today. I know you're a busy guy. Thanks for taking the time to be on our show. Let's do it again sometime.
Ronnie, thanks for having me, man.
Good job. Bill Cassidy. We'll be back right after this.